Who do you think's a bigger priority for the Saudi government? Newcastle United or the Saudi Pro League?
It's a coin toss. I really do. I think for the time being, Newcastle United,
Okay.
because Europe is still where the top, most of the top players are playing, and where the most important and prestigious prizes are in terms of Premier League, Champions League. If Newcastle can be successful in terms of winning a Premier League title or winning a Champions League, or even going out in the group stage and winning the Europa League, if they can win something impressive next season, that's going to be a much bigger marker for the public investment fund
Yeah.
than signing another couple of superstars for Al Hilal or whoever.
Yeah.
For the time being, I'll say Newcastle. In the next 3 to 5 years, I could see that club being slightly neglected in favour of supporting the league. And it might make one or two of their fans look silly when Bruno Guimaraes is shipped to Al Ittihad on loan or
Yeah.
whatever. But,
I think I've heard stories about the idea of Ruben Neves being loaned back to Newcastle United after signing that ridiculous contract in Saudi. I think that might be a way they do it, is start signing these superstars, and for the first like maybe 2 seasons, decide, oh yeah, Newcastle, do you want this player? Do you want Benzema, Newcastle? I think that definitely might be a thing, but I also think that it's a sad state of affairs, but I think only really other state-owned clubs are actually going to compete with Newcastle, which means that the Premier League or European football is just going to be like a spitting contest between the sheikhs of the Middle East. Like you've got, City owned by Sheikh Mansour, you've got the possibility of Manchester United owned by Sheikh Jassim. It will become this like chess match between like these extremely rich states buying clubs in Europe and basically kind of shitting on each other through football. I think that's probably what we've got in store.
it's a scary prospect because you're going to end up with Premier League games basically being an ego competition between Middle Eastern states. And call me old-fashioned, but that's not really what football's all about.
Really.
Even if they were owned by, let's forget about human rights records for 1 minute. Even if they were owned by a beautiful, loving country, I don't know
Don't
any
think there
country that's
are
not.
any.
Yeah, no, I don't think there are. Let's say they were bought by the most beautiful, loving country in the world. Being a football club being owned by a nation state, full stop, is a concern because, especially if they've got a complete, infinite wealth they can spend, it stops being about the football and it starts being about, like you say, the egos and the spitting contest between these states that are, geographical rivals as well.
Yeah.
It just doesn't bode well for the future of football.
Yeah, there's definitely elements as well of that split between fans and the club now. Is that, of course, football clubs have been owned by people for a very long time now, but originally there were fan clubs, they were built by fans, and we still very much say, like, I'll say Manchester United is my club. It's not like grammatically, it's not my club. I don't own any part of it. And I think we're starting to see more and more clubs have that separation between the fans really have nothing to do with the football club other than paying the tickets to go and watch them. And I do kind of see a really, daunting future that might be more of the case.
Yeah, and I really don't see how it ends now. I think the horse has bolted massively, and I think it bolted with City, to be honest. But I think a lot of people were too busy asleep to notice it really happening, especially as they just come
Because they didn't
from
have
the
any
uh, the,
fans.
the ownership of Sinawatra as well, and it was kind of a deal brought through with Sheikh Mansour and Abu Dhabi. I think that was the moment where it turned, but I think none of us really realised.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't. I was probably about 11 years old, but uh, I just remember thinking Robinho is a good player,
Oh yeah,
and that is it. I'm not a City fan, but them signing Robinho was I sort of sports washed, but because I
yeah,
was young and impressionable, I just saw a good player playing for a team that's not really had good players before. It was a
yeah,
surprise. It was novelty, and I think that's the worry that now the horse has bolted. Nothing was done to stop Saudi and Newcastle, so nothing can really be done to stop Sheikh Jassim and Manchester United. Where does it end? It
yeah.
probably doesn't.